Om. Om. Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect what we were reading last week, Swami is telling us that Gita has to be experienced. It's just not respecting the book is not good enough. The message has to be taken into our head and practiced. So I think that's what we were discussing. So I will stop here and we can continue from where we left off, Kalyani.
The tastiest dish can never quell your hunger if you place it on the head or press it to your eye or fall prostrate before it. The Gita too is on par with this. The Gita is a tasty dish full of the sweet ingredients of bhakti, devotion, jnana, karma, and vairagya. Eat it, drink it. One mouthful is enough. The hungry man does not need all the grain that is harvested. A handful of rice suffices. The thirsty man need not drink the Godavari dry. A glass of water is enough. He who has hunger for God need not consume the entire Gita. It can be quenched by practicing even one shloka. A box of matches has many sticks. If you want to light a fire, you need to strike only one. You can nurture the little flame into a huge fire with care and diligence. The entire stalk of sticks need not be struck. There are 700 sticks in the Gita. Each one is a stick from which you can light the flame of jnana. Strike one on the stone of experience. That is enough. The Gita has to be used thus for self-realization. That is the holy task for which it is designed. It is a great wrong to misuse it. All attempts to use it for fame and fortune, for titles and display, are but symptoms of egoism. They are acts of sacrilege. The gandha, fragrance, must be extracted from this grantha, essence. That is the test of scholarship. This fragrance is the essence of the book. Do not, on the other hand, transform the mastaka into a pustaka, the brain into a book.
Thank you, sister. I think we discussed this. If anyone has something to share in addition to whatever we have discussed last week, we can do so. Otherwise, we can move on.
I just had one question because where Swami saying that you don't need all 700 shlokas, you just need one shloka. I guess sometimes I think that's what sometimes I guess maybe people get confused by when they think that, oh, we just need to know one quotation from Swami, for example, and practice that.
Yeah, I think that's a very nice question, because many people say, then why do we have to, read the Gita also? So I will open it up for discussion. So how do we deal with the 700 shlokas if one is good enough? I think that's the question. Anyone would like to share your thoughts, please? So what does Swami want us to do? Should we read just one shloka and then let's go home and practice? I think that's the question.
Sairam, when we have just give one and maybe we don't ignore it, but when we have a multiple, and then maybe one is suitable for us, and we think we like it one particularly whenever we go through many slogas. I think like a one maybe like a particularly suitable for us, and then we stick with it. I think that's what like the whole Gita says so many things, but at least that we practice it. The Swami's intention is like, it's not just read and listen and leave it, but like to practice it. That is the main intention. So stick with at least one full sloka, whatever you want it. And that would be helpful. That's what I think the Swami meaning, and that's my understanding. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Sairam, brother.
Yes.
So if we take the slokas, there, whatever Swami said is talking about the bhakti, devotion, and karma and vairagya. So the important is you take one point and try to understand and practice that one, then you'll bring it to the heart. So that's what Swami is saying. If you have 700 sticks, the fire stick, one is enough to burn the purpose of the fire. So you don't need to use everything. So at least you try to understand one and practice that one and bring it to the heart. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else has?
Ramana. There may be 700 slokas, but where we are in life at that point in time, one of those slokas will appeal to us the most. So based on what was said earlier by the brothers, it is something, it's at several levels. So one, Sanatana Dharma believes that as many seekers, those many paths, which means there are 700 ways to get to the Lord. I'm not oversimplifying this kind of a thing, but overall, there are so many paths that are available to get to the Lord, and it is for us to see what we find resonance with, what resonates best with us, and then go forward with that. Because ultimately, it is different people are in different paths. That is one thing. And different people are in different stages of the same path. That is another thing. So the 700 slokas also caters to different stages of where a particular devotee is, so that they can ultimately take that sloka, which is meaning the most to them at that point, and go forward from there.
Thank you very much, Sai Satya. Any other thought? So I think, yeah, thank you, brothers. Just to complement what you have already said. See, Kalyani, we take a matchbox. The matchbox is wet with water. We take each stick and strike, no fire comes out. Okay. So we have to look for a matchstick which is not wet. Because as soon as the light catches, there's nothing else is needed. The thing is, until we drop everything from this world, I think he says vairagya, total detachment. Until that comes, the light has not struck. See, we will take a wet matchstick and you can strike it as many times as possible. It will not light. So that's what Swami says. The thing is, I think there are people who have matchbox which is completely wet, and they say we have a matchbox. That is of no use. I think there are other discourses where Swami says the worldly desires, the worldly attractions is the wet water which wets the matchsticks, and we will not get fire. So I think the whole idea is, we have it. And Swami says one is enough. That means nothing wrong with the matchbox nor the matchsticks. We have to remove the wetness. So I think that's what Swami is pushing us to do. See, Swami is telling there's no point in having all the matchsticks which are all drenched in water. Okay, if you have no worldly attachments, if you cultivate vairagya, one matchstick is good enough to light. So the thing is, I think it's the same thing. Swami says, you can do puja for the Gita and read all the shlokas. It's of no use if the worldly attractions are still prevalent. So I think the whole idea is the day we, just like that pracharaka who stayed home, one day that one matchstick sort of lit something. Okay, so I think until that happens, we have to keep on trying some matchstick. Okay, hopefully there's one matchstick we find which is not wet. And that's good enough. I think that's the way to look at it. Yeah, because memorizing all the matchstick, shlokas and going and talking about it means we are not striking even a one matchstick. I think that's the way I understand. I think one who has struck it will not worry about the rest of the matchsticks. Okay, so Saira.
Sairam, in Telugu version, Swami says, మనకు అగ్ని కావాలన్నా ఒక పుల్లను అంటించినా కావలసినంత అగ్నిని అభివృద్ధి చేసుకొనవచ్చును కదా. అన్ని పుల్లలు గీచనక్కర్లేదు. అటులనే గీత అను పెట్టెలో 700 శ్లోకములను జ్ఞానాగ్ని పుల్లలున్నాయి. జ్ఞానాగ్ని పుల్లలు. ఇందులో ఒక్క శ్లోకమును మన్ను పుల్లను అనుభవమున గీచిన చాలును. సో దట్ జ్ఞానాగ్ని burns away all our ignorance. Yeah, what to say? And moreover, I think Swami has given in the Gita the 4 bhakti, gnana, and karma marga, and vairagya is also there. But actually, when we follow the karma marga, then slowly we can get to the stage of bhakti, and then bhakti will lead us to gnana. So that's the way how things are done. What Bhagawan has taught us. And finally, when we reach that gnana stage, that one, we tried all the methods, we tried all the matchsticks, but it didn't strike. It didn't get fire could not come out of it. So when we reach that gnana stage, then that one shloka is enough for us to burn all our ignorance. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Auntie, while you were talking, I was reminded of this discussion we had about Navavidha Bhakti some time back, in which Swami said one path is good enough to take you to the goal. Then, the similar discussion we had, is Shravanam good enough? But I think the conclusion we reached was, you start with Shravanam, all the others will come through. So ultimately the Atma Nivedanam was needed. But we can start anywhere and it will take us to that state. I think that was some discussion we had in another study circle, if I remember correctly. Saira.
And one thing, and when Auntie was telling Anubhavam ani pullato, so it is like experience is the thing, right? That's what it has to become the experiential
Knowledge.
That's a striking.
ఒక శ్లోకమును అను పుల్లను అనుభవమున గీచిన చాలు.
I think that's not translated here, no?
Yeah.
Strike.
Yes, it's no, strike one of the stone of experience, that's enough. Yeah, that's the last sentence. Second paragraph. Strike one on the stone of experience. That's enough.
And Anna, another thing Swami had mentioned, where if you have those wet matchsticks, you have to keep it in the sun to dry it, kind of. What is that? I'm just trying to recollect that. What is that process?
Yeah, Swami's, how actually Swami basically says, actually there are multiple places he has said, there was a story of some person who went in search of a guru. The guru was supposed to be in a cave, and he goes in the cave, and he's scared because he couldn't see at a distance. He saw two eyes, so he was scared. He was very scared, but he went. Then, of course, that guru said, "Hey, you can't see me properly." So he says, "Look, close to you, there is a lamp." And he goes through the same thing. There was water in the lamp. He has to pour it out. Then the wick was wet. He poured oil. Then he tried to light it. No, the wick was wet. He said, "The wick is wet. Go and dry it." So he took it out and put it in the sun. And then it dried. Then it came out. And I think in that story, Swami says the worldly desires, worldly attractions have to be dried up by using jnana, jnanam of some sort, discrimination, realizing what is permanent, what is not permanent, what will take us to the goal. Through that process, you remove the worldly attachments, attractions slowly, and then it becomes dry. Then you come and light the lamp, then it will light bright, and then you can see the guru. Then he can give you everything. So he says, I have already taught you what you have to learn, which is remove the worldly attachments. That is the only way to dry up the wet wick. So I think that's something. I don't know whether it answered your question or not, but
Yeah, thanks, Anna. Yeah, that helped. Yeah, because I think it's coming to that same. Either you have the jnana agni, or trying it with that what you mentioned. Yeah, smara nityam anityatam kind of. Yeah, sure, Anna. Thank you.
In Telugu,
yes, Auntie.
Mastakamanu Pustamuka Marcharadu. Last time we discussed it. This Pustakam is inert. So our brain is Chetana. It has consciousness. So when we bring that book, Pustakam, into the Mastakam, we are making the whole thing as inert. That's what you said. Is it correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
Auntie.
That's the way you have to think.
We should use our brain as brain and not like a book.
First the book. Other places, Swami used to say that to us, Pustakam enduku, Pustakam, why you need Pustakam? Mastakamala undavala. All the things should be retained in the memory. And that's what he used to say.
Because that smara nityam anityatam, I think that's Sai Satish, you don't know that.
Yes, Anna. Which one you're?
Smara nityam anityatam, that's, is it Bhagawan shloka? You should always remember what is permanent and what is permanent.
Yes, Anna. Yeah, that you're asking in the context of, it comes with Tyaja Durjana Samsargam Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam Kuru Punyam Mahoratram Smaranityam Nityatam. Is that one?
So well, Auntie was telling we had to keep it in our memory.
Okay.
So I think from that, that's also, I think it comes in Bhagavad Gita. I don't know where it. Yeah, I think it's Bhajago. It's maybe somebody else. Maybe it's a Shubhashita or something like that. So we have to keep it in our memory and recollect.
One time.
Manana and Nididhyasana. So that's what Swami's remember and contemplate and put it into practice.
And I think from what Auntie is telling, I think those days, Swami would tell you, Auntie, like I think all of your songs, whatever you would practice, you would never want a book in front of you. Possibly it was from that thing that you should know everything by heart, where he was telling, like Pustakavanta Mastakamlo Undali, that thing. Yeah. So
Yes, exactly.
yes, Auntie. So I think that is, for I think to encourage all the youngsters and everybody at that time. And this one is, I think, like, because everything cannot be, every aspect or every pustakam cannot be put into the mastakam. I think that's where I think Swami is putting it from an experiential part, where we know the essence of the spirit behind the letters that are there. So we essence it, that kind of.
Shall we move on then?
Yeah. Kalyani, unmute.
Narmita, do you want to read it?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, no problem. Sairam, see God in the stone. Do not change God into stone. That is the vision which is highly desirable. The stone must be visualized as divine, suffused with God, which really is. This vision is the precious gift that God has given the people of this land. Pearls do not float on the waves of the ocean. Dive deep into the silent caverns at the bottom of you, yearn from them. The people of this land have sought for God in this manner for ages. The practice of Dharma is the body. The realization of God is the heart. This is the truth that has urged the people here to march forward and save themselves. They are not slaves to outward polish, external embroidery, or material comfort. They search for the basic Atma with the inner eye and cultivate detachment. The people of Bharat, who have this grand nature, are, however, attracted today by material progress and outward pomp. This is a tragedy much to be regretted. Those who go about expounding the Gita with the object of earning money are thereby keeping God afar. They may give various justifications for their behavior, no doubt, but no one who has real faith in the Gita or who is a real adherent of its teaching can accept their explanations.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Narmada. Auntie, shall we read in Telugu also, and then we can.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's very important because in the English translation, some of the important things are not mentioned there.
Okay.
రాళ్లయందు దేవుని చూడవలెను గాని దేవుళ్లను రాళ్లగా చేయరాదు, చూడరాదు.
You should see God in the stone, but you should not see God as stone, or you should not see that way.
అదే మన భారతీయులకు భగవంతుడు అందించిన మహాభాగ్యము.
So that's the greatest fortune which has been granted by the God to all the Bharatiyas.
సముద్రమున పై అలలో వెతికిన ముత్యములు చిక్కవు.
If you search on the waves outside on an ocean, which are at the top of the ocean, you will not find pearls.
సముద్ర మధ్య భాగములో స్వాతివాన పడిన సమయంలో సముద్ర గర్భమున చేరి వెతికిన చిక్కును.
See, if you go to the middle of the ocean and you immerse yourself in that, dive in, and if you go to the womb of the ocean, you will and search for it, you will find the pearls.
స్వాతివాన they have not translated.
Swativanana,
The Swati Nakshatram, when there's rain falls on a Swati Nakshatram day, isn't that?
I think Vanana water also, auntie. I will just check.
இல்ல வானான்னா மழை. Rain. Swativan.
Let me check. No, it doesn't give anything. Yeah, it doesn't give anything.
Anyway, let me read and then we can
Okay,
discuss.
yes.
స్వాతివాన పడిన సమయంలో సముద్ర గర్భమున చేరి వెతికిన చిక్కును. ఇట్టి భగవద్ అన్వేషణ సలుపు వారి.
At the time of the Swativana, is it? That's what you are saying.
స్వాతివాన
Okay.
పడిన సమయంలో సముద్రం గర్భమును చేరి వెతికిన చిక్కును. That Swati pearl, that pearl forms when the Swati, on the Swati Nakshatram day, when the rainfall comes, one small drop goes and then into that shell that becomes oyster shell. Yeah, exactly. Dharma charane dehamu gani daiva darshaname hrudayamunu gani talinchi charinchi tarinchu varu mana bharatiyulu pai మన భారతీయులు.
Okay.
Uncle, can you translate the previous sentence too? Itti Bhagavat, that one.
ఇట్టి భగవద్ అన్వేషణ
Salpuvare Mahabharatiyulu.
మన భారతీయులు.
So this kind of search, whoever does searches like this, such people alone are our Bharatiyas.
ధర్మాచరణే దేహముగాను,
taking the practice of dharma as the body,
దైవ దర్శనమే హృదయముగాను,
considering the darshan of the Lord as the heart,
తలంచి చరించి తరించువారు.
people who think so, who work for it, and who search for it, I would say.
తరించువారు means over
to cross over, illanti?
Transcend.
Yeah, transcend. Okay.
మన భారతీయులు పైపై పూతలకు బాహ్యాడంబరములకు భౌతిక అభివృద్ధులకు బానిసలు కారు.
They are not, such people are not slaves. Such Bharatiyas of ours are not slaves to external show and pompous behavior and worldly progress. Sari aunty, bhautika
abhiruddhiku బానిసలకు, they are not slaves
to this.
అంతర్దృష్టితో ఆత్మాన్వేషణ సలుపు నట్టి,
with an inner vision, searching for the Atman by doing that.
Yeah, సలుపు నట్టి నిస్వార్థ హృదయములు.
They will have selfless hearts.
అట్టి పవిత్ర స్థితిగతులు కలిగిన భారతీయులు,
such Bharatiyas who possess such sacred state as well as journey.
నేడి భౌతిక అభివృద్ధులకు ప్రాకలాడుట పైపై పూతలు పూయట శోచనీయము.
It is sad such Bharatiyas today are giving importance to external progress, material comforts, and they are struggling for those. It is such a sad state of affairs.
ధర్మార్జన కై గీతా ప్రబోధ చేయు వర్లకు దైవము దూరమే.
For people who are searching for money, even if they are studying or teaching the Gita, for them God is far.
సమర్థించుకొనుటకు అట్టివారు అనేక కథలు కల్పింతురు.
So just to show them as intelligence, they give various stories.
ప్లానులు వేయుదురు.
They hatch a lot of plans. They plot and plan. Yeah.
కానీ నిజమైన గీతా విశ్వాసకులు కానీ,
but people who really have faith in the Gita,
గీతా దాసులు కానీ దీనిని అంగీకరించరు.
The dasas or the servants of the Gita will not accept these stories.
Who are real adherent of its teaching.
Adherents, yeah. Vishwasagurkandas.
This Swati Vana that we should discuss, I think. Kalyani, we know about Swati, drop of that falls into the oyster. It becomes a pearl.
Is that a legend or?
No, I think it is it true?
And people are saying, if you collect rainwater when there's a Swati Nakshatra is in time, and keep wherever you keep, you will get a lot of money.
That's true. That is the belief. But Swati
it'll turn into. See, the thing is, the rain which falls during the Swati Nakshatra period, the star, is considered very, very auspicious. Because they say, Chataka birds wait for that rain. That rain, if it falls into an oyster, it will become a pearl. All that is, these are ancient traditions. Yeah.
And moreover, they say that same Swati drop of water, rainwater, if it falls on a hot iron material, it just evaporates within seconds, not even seconds. So the moment it falls, it disappears, it evaporates. The same rainwater drop, if it falls on the lotus leaf, it stays, so it looks like a small pearl, but it falls off after some time. So it doesn't stay there for a longer time. Whereas the same water which falls on the oyster, it becomes a pearl. So
the reality is actually the word Swati, people say it is on the nakshatra, but it actually means pure. When the rainwater is so pure, it's capable of granting something.
Swati means pure?
Yes. Swati, I think if you're asking for the meanings, I will tell you. There's a star named Swati, but at the same time, Swati is also something which is pure.
One of the stars' name is Swati. There was a huge entertainment for that Swati Mutyam. A picture was released for Swati Mutyam.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. That famous actor has acted in that.
Sairam. And what is this Swati Nakshatra? How do we know when this one is happening?
What is it?
She asked, how do you know when the Swati Nakshatra?
Nakshatra. You know, there are like 27 nakshatra. That is how this is one of them. Oh.
Yeah, one of them. The Swati Nakshatram is one of the 27 nakshatras. But on particular day when the Swati Nakshatram is on the prominent this time, then if it rains on that day, under that nakshatra influence, all these things happen.
So how do we find out this is the day, is the Swati Nakshatra day?
Each day in the month of, we have got those 27 nakshatras, you know.
Yes.
You can just watch when the Swati Nakshatram is there. On particular day, it should rain.
Oh, it will be in the calendar, right?
Yeah, calendar.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Anyone else would like to discuss any?
With the oyster, isn't the oyster in the ocean already?
Yeah.
But how does it get the drop of that water?
So the belief is it rains in the ocean also. So on that, so the belief is that rainwater should reach the oyster for it to form. You know, that's belief. We should go and ask people who are cultivating pearls nowadays with oysters.
Sai Ram, also the pearl has to open its mouth to receive the raindrop. If it closes the shell, then the pearl won't be developed inside the shell. That's what I heard. I don't know.
Thank you, sister.
So, Sairam, brother.
Yes.
I like this one, the see God in the stone. Do not change God into stone. So most of the people going to the temple and worshipping and asking so many things nowadays from the stone. But they don't understand God is within you, around you, above you. So for the beginning, you have to go do these kind of things, but eventually you have to search for it. So if you want to get pearl, you have to go into the deep of the ocean. Then only you can get the pearl. Same thing, the spiritual life, there's a difference between religion and the spiritual. So religion is surface and that spiritual, we have to go deeper. Then only you can understand. The body was given to us to live in the form of dharma. Then when you live in the dharma, then you'll get the experience about the God. So you have to turn your mind invertedly. But nowadays people are still, most of the people are, their mind is outwardly. So this is sad, Swami saying, in most of the people are in Bharat, everyone is not changing towards invertedly. Thank you, Brother Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share anything?
So Sairam, brother, one more thing I'd like to add, brother. Most of the gurus nowadays, when they teach the Bhagavad Gita, they are not talking the essence. They are attracting the people. So that the person who knows a little bit of Gita, they are not attracted to that one. So they are not listening to those one, but most of the people attract their jokes and everything. They are changing the people in a different direction nowadays. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Anveshana means search.
Search. Anveshana is search. Ishana means having an attraction for something, Ishana is seeking, yearning for something is Ishana. Anveshana means that comes after that. So if you yearn for something, you will seek it. You will search and seek. And that's Anveshana.
Sorry, Uncle, the first one you said was Vaishana?
Ishana, Ishana. Swami says usually human beings have 3 Ishanas they suffer from. Dhaneshana, Dhareshana, Putreshana. They yearn for these 3 things, either money or for a spouse or for children. These Ishanas trouble us. But when you have the same Ishana for the Lord, then from that you get Anveshana. You seek, search. So Anveshana generally you want something very badly, you seek and search.
So Ishana, you said is that intense longing for something?
Yes, intense longing is Ishana.
Correct.
And then Anu means which comes after that. So once you have a yearning for something, then you start searching for it. So that's.
And you said it was for Dana, Putra,
Pardon?
and you said Dana, Putra, and
Dhana, Putra, and Dhara. Dhareshana means wife or spouse. Then Dhana means money, Putra means children. Eshana, Eshana.
Ishanatre Nirmukta Gunatra Vivarjita. Bhagawan is
I see.
in Lalita Sahasranam, I think.
Oh, I see.
Ishanatre Nirmukta Gunatra Vivarjita.
So Eshana means ardent desire, something like that.
Yeah.
So Anveshana comes when you have something, the way you will search frantically, seek it frantically. That's Anveshana.
and when so I'm saying they tell stories.
Yeah, I mean they give it some excuses, people for their behavior. People, who are trying to earn money using Geetha, they'll tell stories. Swami says, "Attivari kathalu kalpinturu." They start imagining certain stories.
They come out with all kinds of excuses.
In India, they call it a cock and bull story, like that. I don't know whether it's used in Canada, but. And Vivida Planulu Veduru. Swami, yes, you said English word also.
Plan. Swami uses that word. The plan to.
They come up with various plans to do this. Is everyone okay?
Is there another meaning, Uncle, you were saying for Swati, when it's more like not like a more inner significance for that word?
See, Swati is a nakshatra which comes after Chaitra. Chitra. Okay. I don't know, it falls in the Tula Rashi or whatever. If you want to just look at the star itself. But the word Swati has a meaning greater than that. So Ati is a bird. Okay. So Suati means the bird which looks for the perfect drop of water is Swati. Okay, so from that only, it's something which is very pure is considered Swati Nakshara. So the water, which the purest water goes into an oyster, it will have a pearl come out. That's what Swami says. But actually, Swami here says on that day when there's rain, Swati rain, at that time you should dive in and see. It should say, Swami uses the word Garbhamu. That means the womb of. So these are poetic expressions, I think, used in Indian literature. So Swami is using that to drive home the point that, on the best time, auspicious time, you should go and search for the Lord, and then you will find him. I think that's the sense. So Swami is, very poetically stating this. This is the way I understand. But ultimately, it basically means you have to, external attachment should be given up. One has to go with him. One has to search with purity, and then one will find the pearl.
Jataka bird. That's Jataka bird is also the same, no? Swati.
Same Ati. That is why it's called the Ati. Swati means it's also supposed to be waiting for that perfect drop of rain.
Perfect drop of rain.
It will not drink from anywhere else. It will only drink the purest of rain.
In the sky, yeah, brother.
Yes.
In the cloud.
Yeah. So actually, it's good, when it's raining, if you go out, and drink, open our mouth and drink. That's what actually Jataka bird does. Some uses Chataka bird also, but these are I don't know, the mythical birds or whatever you want to call them, which are generally prevalent in the Indian literature.
Yeah, Chataka.
Is Swami saying that if you search on the waves of an ocean, you will not find pearls? So Swami's kind of equating that to the search for God. Like if you just look at the surface, you won't find God. You have to go deep. But then what is that? There's, I guess, this factor that's beyond our control, the time of rain, when it rains. Like, what do you think that it's like in this search for God? Like, what is that time?
Okay, what's the rain? When do we go and see? I think that's the question you're asking. I think Swami has asked us, and answered this question. Here Swami says, the search for the basic Atma with the inner eye and cultivate detachment. Okay, I think if these two we do, I think that's the rain. So the rain, I think it's Swami will also say direct your love, the Vana also Swami will say our tears also, of love. It symbolizes love for God. I think it's things like that. I think, I don't know. Hopefully Swami clear. If anyone has something to say, please.
To search for the essence of the Gita, you just cannot go reading the slokas. You have to dive deep into the matter, and then only you can get the real essence of what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. So do not try to just go on the surface of the, just by reading sloka from A to Z is not going to help us. We have to go deep down, dive deep into it, and then search for the real essence of the Gita. That's what I feel. Saira.
Thank you very much.
No,
I think
just,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying from on one hand, like Bhagawan would sing Mira's Mirabhai's song. No, he would say, "Payo ji maine naam ratan dhan payo." So the name of the Lord is the pearl. So in one sense, um, the pearl is very much there, but it is, I feel it is hidden in the deluge of our own mind and its understanding. So that is where the effort of going and understanding that it is really there, whether you pick one shloka of Bhagavad Gita or whether we pick God's name itself, because just that one name, whether we call it Rama, Krishna, Sai Ram, whatever, that name is the pearl that will take us across. But it is for us to make that effort of going through that whole process of realizing the value of it and holding on to it with that sincerity and purity, which will help us, which is that whole effort or sadhana that we put in. So in that context, it is verily there. And yeah, though like, yeah, Swami mentioned it's not floating on the waves. In one sense, we know that that is the essence, because Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, that whole thing also is Yoga Kshemam Bahamyam from the Lord is taken care of as long as you do Ananyas Chintayanto. So it is holding on to that pearl of constant remembrance of his name, of his glory, and then the rest of the thing gets taken care of. But it is for us to dive deep, to push everything away and then hold on to that one pearl. I just wanted to put that in perspective.
Thank you very much.
Brother.
Yes.
Even the one drop of water, it changes it to the pearl. It takes so many years, so it's not going to come as a pearl right away. So same way, we have to do sadhanas, and we have to, and same way, then we have to, if you want to get the pearl, you have to go into the deep and get the pearl. Thank you.
Any other thoughts, or shall we move on?
The Gita is spoken in order to foster dharma, not dhanam, riches. It serves to promote goodness, not goodsness. Collecting money in the name of temple for Krishna or for Rama, or a mandir for the Krishna is another means of reducing faith in God. Building a house for the Lord, who is immanent and all-pervading, is absurd. The heart is the proper temple where Krishna or Gita is to be installed. To put up an artificial structure that is certain to be ravaged by time for the eternal absolute, the indestructible Godhead, is very improper. Of course, until a stage is reached, these may be necessary, but in that case, it is wiser to make the best use of the ancient temples that already exist. Building new ones and running the old ones Ruining the old one is as foolish as killing the cow and donating footwear made out of its hide. The welfare of the world can be promoted by the renovation of old temples and not by the creation of new ones. The installation of God in ancient days was done according to strict ritual, and so they are holier. The power radiated from them confers upon this land whatever little welfare it enjoys now. The rishis of the past suffered hardships, detached themselves from the world, and even distinguished their physiques in the search of the secrets of individual salvation and social uplift. They have handed down certain codes of conduct and rules of living which are practicable and simple. Even these are now neglected or misunderstood. New codes and rules are imposed so that these precious ones have gone under. When elders, gurus, and pandits accept the honor of these newfangled modes of behavior, how can Bharat continue to be Dharma Kshetra, the field of righteousness, Yoga Kshetra, the field of self-control, and Tyaga Kshetra, the field of sacrifice? This downfall in ideals explains why the land, which verily was Annapurna, goddess of nature, feeding all her children, has to wail today for food. The holy experience, Shivoham, I am Shiva, was resounding from every mountain valley, every cave, every temple, and each sacred river bank. But now the cry is, Savoham, Savoham, I am dead.
Shavoham.
Savoham.
Shava, Shava. Dead bodies, Shava.
Can we read the Telugu too?
We will read the Telugu.
Goodsness is not here. I don't know.
Goodness, yes.
It's not there. ధర్మము కొరకు గీత కానీ ధనము కొరకు కాదు.
The Gita is for the sake of dharma and not for the sake of money.
కృష్ణ మందిరాలనియు రామ మందిరాలనియు ఏవో కొన్ని పేర్లు పెట్టుకొని మందిర నిర్మాణము పేరుతో ఆశ్రమముల నిర్మాణం పేరుతో గీతా ప్రచార నిర్వహణ. Long sentence.
So in the name of building a temple for Rama, or in the name of building a temple for Krishna, some such names kept, or to build an ashram, such names.
గీతా ప్రచార నిర్వహణ పేరుతో,
so for the sake of spreading the message of Gita, giving such excuses.
ధనమును ప్రాగు చేయుట కూడా భగవత్ విశ్వాసము కోల్పోటకు ఒక మార్గము.
So using such names, collecting money is a reason for the
losing the faith,
dwindling of the faith in God.
సర్వవ్యాపి అయిన పరమాత్మకు కేవలం మందిర నిర్మాణము హాస్యాస్పదము.
So the Lord, who is all present everywhere, omnipresent, for such a Lord, building a temple is something which is laughable.
Funny. భగవత్ ప్రతిష్టకు హృదయ మందిరము ప్రధాన స్థానము.
For installing the Lord, the temple of heart is the most important place.
అట్టి మందిరమును నిర్మించుటకు ప్రయత్నించక,
instead of making efforts to build such a temple,
మానవ కల్పిత మందిరములు మాత్రము నిర్మించిన స్థిరమా?
building temples which are imagined by human beings, is that steady or firm?
నిత్య సత్యమైన పరమాత్మకు శాశ్వత మందిరమే సార్థకమును కాని శిథిలముగు మందిరములు కావు.
So for God, who is eternal, the everlasting temple is the most meaningful, and not temples which will depreciate and deplete.
అయితే ఒక స్థితికి వచ్చినంత వరకు బాహ్య నిర్మాణ మందిరములు అవసరమే కానీ,
but at least till one stage is reached, external temples are required. But
అనాదిగా మందిరములు అనేకములు ఉన్నవి కాదా?
But from ancient times, from time immemorial, there are so many temples, aren't they available?
వాటిని భద్రపరచుకొని సద్వినియోగము చేసుకున్న చాలదా?
If those are looked after and they are used properly, isn't that not good enough?
సనాతన మందిరములు కొట్టడము,
నూతన మందిరములు,
సనాతన మందిరములు కొట్టడము, నూతన మందిరములు కట్టడము.
Destroying the old temples and building new temples.
గోవుని చంపి చెప్పులు దానము వేసినట్లు.
So killing the cows and donating for charity slippers made of their skin.
ప్రత్యేకించి నూతన మందిరములు కట్టక,
instead of building new temples,
శిథిలమైన సనాతన మందిరములను పునరుద్ధరణ చేయుట ఎంతయో లోకక్షేమం.
So repairing temples which are deteriorated, that is it is for the benefit of the world.
ఆనాటి శాస్త్రోక్తమైన ధర్మ ప్రతిష్ఠలు మహాపవిత్రములు.
The temples, the establishment of dharma, place of dharma, according to the rules of shastras or sacred texts, they are highly sacred.
అట్టి ధర్మ మందిరముల శక్తియే మన భారతదేశము నేడు ఈ మాత్రమైన క్షేమముగా ఉండుటకు మూల కారణం.
The power of such temples, of dharmic temples, is the reason why even today the country of Bharat is still doing well. That the reason for that is the power from these temples of dharmic nature.
ఆనాటి మహనీయులైన మహా ఋషులు మహా తపస్సులు ఆచరించి,
so the great rishis of ancient times, they performed great tapas.
సర్వసంగ పరిత్యాగులై,
they renounced the world, all attachments.
దేహములు సహితము శిథిలము చేసుకొని,
even they actually wasted their own physical bodies.
లోకక్షేమమును దానికి తగిన ఆచరణ యోగ్యమైన కొన్ని నియమములను
so for the benefit of the world and whatever is conducive for that, such practices and yogamena which are conducive for that, they followed certain disciplines.
నియమించి మనకు అందించిరి.
They also established these rules of conduct and they have given them to us.
అందించిన వాటినైనను నేడు అనుభవించక,
whatever was granted to us, instead of experiencing them today,
వాటికి నానా అర్థములు కల్పించి,
various meanings are given to them.
ఎవరికి తగినట్లు వారు నూతన పద్ధతులను,
everyone according to their own understanding or whatever suits them, they are coming up with new rules.
ప్రవేశపెట్టుటచే అసలు సత్యము అడుగున పడిపోయినది.
So because of that, the real truth is actually is fallen.
అట్టి పవిత్ర సత్యమును పైకి తీయుటకు ప్రయత్నించక
Instead of uplifting these great truths and bringing them out,
నేడు లోకమున పెద్దలను వారు
today the big people of today,
గురువులను వారు
or gurus,
సనాతన ధర్మ పద్ధతులనే అంగీకరించి
accepting the ancient method of conduct,
వాటిని వాటిని పోషిస్తున్నారన్న ఏమని చెప్పవలను?
and they protecting them and nurturing them. What can be said about it?
That means these people, great people like gurus and rishi, I mean, some influential people, they are not trying to uplift the temples which are worn out. Instead of that, they are అంగీకరించి వాటినే పోషించుచున్నారని ఏమని చెప్పవలను? What does it mean? Here,
What can be said for the question, if they are doing that, what can be said? Swami is not even saying what can be saying. They are not doing what they have to do.
Yeah. ఇక భారతదేశము ధర్మక్షేత్రము యోగక్షేత్రము త్యాగక్షేత్రము ఎట్లు కాగలదు?
Then how can the country of Bharat become a dharma kshetra, place of dharma, a yoga kshetra, place of yoga, or place of sacrifice, tyaga kshetram? How can it become one of these?
అందులకే కాబోలు అన్నపూర్ణ స్వరూపమైన మన భారత అవని. Perhaps కాబోలు.
Perhaps because of that, the Bharat, the country of Bharat, which was the embodiment of Annapurna.
నేడు అన్నమో అని అల్లాడవలసిన వచ్చినది.
Today it is wailing for food.
ఏ పర్వతములందు, ఏ గుహలయందు, ఏ పవిత్ర నది తీరములందు,
in whichever mountain, in whichever cave, or in whichever sacred banks of a river,
ఏ పుణ్యక్షేత్రములందు శివోహం శివోహం అని విడుబడుచుచుండదో,
in all these sacred places, the sound of Shivoham Shivoham was heard.
అట్టి స్థానములందు నేడు శవోహం శవోహం అని వింటూ ఉన్నాము.
From all these places today we are hearing Shavoham Shavoham. We are the corpse, we are the corpse. I am the corpse.
Yeah. What is Swami is trying to say here? Goodsness means goods gadi.
No, that's Kasturi's poetry. He's saying instead of that, dharmam, you are going after dhanam. He said instead of good, you are going after goods.
Goods, yeah.
Goods means things of the world.
Yeah, goods gadi.
Like goods train, auntie. Goods train.
Yeah, that's goods train.
Material sort of, right?
Materials, yeah. Materials.
Yeah.
See, Swami is always against, people coming up with new ideas of, sadhana, this, that, practice, instead of, discarding what was already laid down by great rishis. Swami is always speaks very negatively about it, because people who are coming up with these newfangled ideas are not qualified themselves. Have they, practiced in their own life and understood the benefits? They just imagine something and implement. So Swami is always warning us about that.
And there are so many dilapidated temples in India. So many of them. Instead of repairing it and bringing it back to their original form, they are building new temples. Swami is discouraging that.
Uncle Gopalan, please.
Sai Ram.
Yeah.
I have read it before in Swami's Sathya Sai Speaks. In the old days, the sages used to give wages for the people for build the temples. And the normal way of giving was they used to give sand in their hands. According to the work they did, the sand will convert to gold.
Oh.
That's how some of the temples were built,
Yes.
So how sacred they are, Swami's
Pure heart.
They had a pure heart, and everybody was inspired to do such a thing. So
Thank you very much, Uncle. Thank you. Anyone would like to share any thought about what we read?
Was there a line in Telugu about, in the English it says the installation of God in ancient days was done according to strict Shastric ritual, and so they are holier?
Yes.
I think I read it.
Yeah, Swami says Shastra.
Ritiga. What was it? Where is it in first itself?
Swami uses this is what Swami says, Kalyani. Anati Shastrokta Dharma Pratishtalu Maha Pavitramulu. That's the sentence.
Yeah.
So Swami says, in those days, the Dharma Pratishtas, the Pratishta means installation, which were done in dharmic way, using what was stated in the Shastras, Shastrokta Maina.
Yeah.
Means Shastra Uktam Aina. Shastra Uktam means stated in the Shastras. Okay, so those installations were according to the dharmic principles stated in the Shastras, and they are highly sacred.
And that Shakti, that power in those Dharma Mandiramullo, Shaktiye, mana Bharat Deshamu nedu ee matramainagu క్షేమముగా ఉండుటకు మూల కారణం.
That's the reason for the welfare of the Bharat even today, the power from these temples. I think that's the power radiated from them confers upon this land whatever little welfare it enjoys now. That's what English translation says.
Yeah.
Swami has used the word Maha Pavitramulu. That means they are greatly sacred, highly sacred.
And killing the cow to make slippers out of their skin. So that's saying that the cow is like the old ancient temples and the
Yeah,
slipper.
so you are breaking away the old ones, and then you are so basically Swami is saying the ancient temples are cows. Now what you are building are chapels. You have killed the Shiva and you are building Shavas. That's the type of analogy Swami says. Because what they are building may be very beautiful, externally. But Swami is saying they are missing what the essence which has been, installed by the rishis.
Sairam, brother.
Yes, brother.
So those days they spend a lot of time, and whatever you said, and the rishis or the religious people, they establish these temples according to the dharmic way. Nowadays, people are building the temple, the money motivation. Then there's no need to build new temple. They can go to the existing temple and they can pray there. They can do the renovations over there. And now, so Swami is saying it's like killing the cow and giving chapels to the people. So there's no meaning. So that's what my understanding, brother. Thank you.
Anna, those days, I think temples, many of the temples took a couple of centuries to build, which involved, I think, every person, every bit of labor that went into the temple, like what Uncle also was saying, how the sages would reward them at the end, but they would put in their labor of love, and so along, coupled with the sages' blessings and all of that with the thing, I think they verily represented the spiritual heritage. Whereas these days you have machines building the temples, and they come up in maybe a few years, and there is only so much to it in terms of what it has been as a labor of love and dedication. So all of that also goes into making it an epitome or worthy of that worship. So yeah.
Thanks, Sai Satish. Yeah, because every grain of sand which went in was charged with the name of God.
So one more point, brother, I like that one. The people don't understand the time. The God is above the time, but we are giving the priority for the time, that whatever the temple you building is going to destroy one day. It's not permanent. Thank you.
Sai Ram. Should we move on then? I think it's rather straightforward.
The last part about the gurus and great people of today, so they are not uplifting the great truths. Is that what Swami's saying?
Exactly. Today's gurus and today's big people are not nurturing the old and bringing, renovating the dilapidated ancient temples. Swami is lamenting that.
Yeah.
And is it saying that the new gurus and they are accepting the new modes of behavior?
So yeah, Swami says, Atti pavitra satyamunu paiki తీయుటకు ప్రయత్నించక నేడు లోకమున పెద్దలను వారు గురువులను వారు సనాతన పద్ధతులనే అంగీకరించి వాటినే పోషించుచున్నారా
ఏమని చెప్పవలను.
So they are not looking after the ancient injunctions, bringing them out in the open, not making effort, which is the real truth, Swami says. Then Swami says, how can it become Dharma Kshetra, Yoga Kshetra, Tyaga Kshetra? So before that, Swami is saying, people according to their own conveniences and things like that, they're coming up with new, styles. People have come up with new temples, new rituals, new everything. And they have actually caught, they become so popular. Now everyone, people will pay a lot of money to go and attend even spiritual, functions. So it's a sad state of affairs, is what Swami says.
So example, brother, how many temples they are chanting the Vedas and everything properly? And people also believing once we do Arichana or something like that, they can get the blessing, something like that. And how many the gurus knows the Vedic chanting and everything. So nowadays it's very rare. Those are the kind of temple they are building nowadays. That olden days they have to study properly and they chant the mantras and everything. Now we can see, they will cut the mantras in a halfway and they talk in the middle of thing. So nobody's concentrating the pujas or anything. Most of the temples nowadays, all money making.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's time now. Yeah.
It's 4:20. Should we just read
One
something?
more.
And maybe we can discuss it next week, but we can at least read.
Kalyani, you have to read, I think. She has left.
No, yes.
Oh, Narmada.
I am getting kicked out of this. My internet is kind of off. So
I saw that Narmada left. I saw that. That's why I saw.
yeah.
Sorry.
No. I have logged in too because of that. The land has lost its ancient joy. It is infested with anxiety. It is the home of self-aggrandizement. Aggrandizement. It is pursuing empty pomp. To counteract these tendencies, the spread of spiritual knowledge by persons who have actually experienced the joy of sadhana, spiritual practice, and success in and through it has become very necessary. Everyone from the simple unlettered man to the Paramahamsa, realized sage, must recognize this need. All must cultivate faith in the Gita and take it as the authentic word of the Lord. The Lord has given the assurance, Yoga Kshemam, Vahamayam. I shall bear the burden of your welfare here and hereafter. He has undertaken this task voluntarily. But for mortals and aspirants to benefit from this, they have to live as ordained. They have to adhere to the lines laid down. When they feel that they are not so helped, they have only to examine their own lives and discover how far they have kept up the commands of God regarding the regulation of life. They fail to examine this. They do not consider the past and future. They complain only about the grief of the moment, not knowing that it is caused by neglect in the past and ignorance of the future. This is the root of their suffering.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe we'll read the Telugu also, Auntie.
ఒక్కటేమి అన్నిటి యందు నేడు మన దేశము ఆనందరహితమై అశాంతిమయమై స్వార్థ స్వరూపమై ఆడంబర ప్రదర్శనలతో అలరాలుచున్నది.
Not one. In everything today, our country is devoid of joy, devoid of peace, and it's full of selfishness and external pomp and show. through all this, it is actually struggling. Alararichunde struggling is okay, auntie?
I think so.
Yeah.
అలరారుచున్నది అంటే ఇట్ ఇస్ అలరారేది.
Yeah.
I think.
I said struggle, it's struggling.
Yeah, okay. We'll get it.
Wailing.
What is it?
Allara. Auntie, allara in Telugu is like that wailing kind.
See, alararu means it's a meaning I'm looking at. It says you are pleased with that. So actually, basically, we are all pleased with external pomp, selfishness, and so on. We take pride in that or joy in that. That kind of thing. Alararu means I looked at alararu. To shine, glitter, to rejoice, to be pleased.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the meaning.
అల్లరి చేసేది అంటే చాలా
Making a lot of noise, auntie.
గొడవ చేసేది అది వేరే.
See, the meaning they're giving prakash inchu.
ప్రకాష్ అలరారుచున్నది. సో ఆడంబర ప్రదర్శనలతో అలరారుచున్నది. They are taking pride.
So the external pomp and show is the one which is shining everywhere.
Yeah. కాన నేడు ఆచరణ రూపమైన ప్రచారములు అత్యవసరము.
But today, the practice and the propagation of that is very essential.
ఇది పామురుని మొదలు పరమహంస అని పిలువబడు వరకు తెలుసుకొనవలసిన విషయము.
This should be understood and known from ordinary people up to the people of Paramahamsa stage, who are evolved jnanis.
గీతా విషయమున మరింత శ్రద్ధ వహించి స్వయముగా పరమాత్మని పలుకులుగా విశ్వసించి ఆచరించవలెను.
The message of the Geetha should be given a lot of there should be a lot of faith and shraddha, and on their own people should witness the Paramatma, Supreme Lord, and having that faith they should practice what is stated in the Gita.
పరమాత్మని పలుకులు,
words of the Lord. Words of the Lord.
They should have that faith in that words of the Lord. పఠించిన మాత్రమున ప్రయోజనము లేదు.
There's no benefit just by reading and studying.
యోగక్షేమం వహామ్యం అను భగవంతుని పవిత్ర ప్రతిజ్ఞకు దీక్షా కంకణమునకు మానవులు సాధకులు అర్హులు కావాలను.
The statement by the Lord that I will look after the yoga and kshema, this determination by the Lord, and he should be we should become deserving. The seekers and everyone and human beings should become deserving for this promise of the Lord.
Yeah. భగవానుడు భక్త రక్షణ అనగా యోగక్షేమము చూచుకొనలేదన్న దానికి పూర్వము పరమాత్ముడు చెప్పిన పద్ధతిని మనము ఆచరించు.
So if we feel that the Lord is not looking after our yoga and kshema, then we should examine beforehand whether our life, our whatever our practices are they according to the rules laid down by the Lord.
Are we following what Bhagawan has said?
Are we following that or no? We should examine that.
అని విచారించిన మన అపోహలలోని పోహలు అంటే ఇమాజినేషన్స్ కదా. అపోహలలోని నిజములో సులభముగా తెలుగు.
So we should anija, we will know what is the truth and what is not proper then if we inquire into this, we will know our experiences or our imaginations, whether they are true or not, will be easily understood by us.
సాధకులు అట్లు విచారించటలేదు, వారికి అవసరమైన దాన్ని మాత్రము తీసుకొని దానికి సంబంధించిన ముందు వెనుకలు విచారించకున్నా అది అనర్థముగును.
So if the sadhakas or seekers, if they only pick and choose what they think belongs to them without knowing what should precede and what should follow, if we do not pay attention to them, if we do not inquire into that, then everything will turn out to be meaningless.
I think up to that she has read.
Yes, Auntie.
Yeah.
The apohalaloni, that line, Uncle, you said if we inquire, we will know whether our imaginations are true or not.
Yes, nija means whether it's nijam or not nijam.
మన అపోహల నిజములు నిజముగా తెలుసు. In our imagination, what is correct, what is true, what is not true, we will come to know.
And our imaginations refer to like our thoughts or our...
Auntie, apohala means brahmamu.
Brahma. Okay. It's right.
Anumanamu. Lenidi uhinchuta.
Lenidi uhinchuta. Apohala.
So imagining that which is not there.
Yeah.
So then, but basically we are imagining things which are not there, and we will not know what is true and not true, what is factual and what is not factual. So Swami says if we inquire into it, we will know what is factual and what is not factual, and whatever we have imagined which did not exist.
Can we say delusion?
Delusion we can say, Auntie. Brahma.
Okay. I think we can.
Oh, it's 4:32. I think we will.
Yeah.
We will inquire into it and come back.
Apohala. The new word. Uha pohalu. They say uha pohalu.
Yes. I think appa uha. I think appa uha becomes apoha. I think, Auntie.
Oh yeah, correct. Uha poha.
Okay. Uha means that it's imagining. Apoha means imagining all sorts of things.
Okay.
Saira.
Okay.
We will close with Samastaloka. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Sai.
Jai Sai.
Thank you.